Right, pizza kits, the good one. Right, just before we get into this video, I've had another sticker from Kyle over at Market Woodworks in the States. Thank you very much, Kyle. I'll put a link to Kyle's Instagram in the description. Now, let's get on with this video. Right then, my apologies for two things. Number one, please excuse the mess. I'm with my tonsils at the moment. And number two, apologies for the lateness of this video. Anybody who's been following the channel for a while knows I did a series on turning kits, and I did a pizza wheel cutter, which the kit I only bought to do the video because it's a bad kit and it's not the one I normally do. This is the kit I normally do, right? If you want to know what I'm talking about with the other kit, right, I'll stick a link up there. And I'll stick a link in the description. So if you want to go and have a look at that one first, and then come back to this one, so you'll actually know what I keep referring to. Right. In the first kit, you're saying that that was the only thing that was in the kit. The complete kit was the wheel. Right. Now this is the kit I normally use. Number one, everything is stainless steel in this kit. Right. There's a wheel, there's a ferrule, and there's a finger guard. As I said in the first video, I wouldn't have let that pizza wheel out of the workshop to sell to somebody, because in my opinion it was dangerous, right? So as I said, this is the kit that I'm going to use on this one, and what we're going to use for the handle is a nice piece of English walnut hardwood. Right, so I'll get set up and I'll be right back. Right then, we're set up square stock in a set of jaws, held with the tiled stock, and what it is 1.5 by 1.5 by 8. First thing I'm going to do is just round it off. Now, because this has a ferrule on it, right, I need to cut an acceptor there for the ferrule, right? Now, this is where people make the mistake. They cut this ferrule now, right? Don't do it. Drill your hole first, right? And then switch this to a cone center. It guarantees everything is central, right? The ferrule, if you get it off at all, everything isn't going to line up. It's not going to be perfect, right? So just get into a habit. If you're doing stuff like this, drill the hole first. Do not size for the ferrule first. Right, so we're set up to drill this. These kits take a 9.5mm drill bit, right? So, and I've put a mark just there so I know how deep I have to actually drill. Buried. Right, now that everything's centralized, we'll cut for this ferrule. Right, and the easiest way of doing it is basically get a set of calipers. I'll knock that off because I'm going to show you this thing. Get a set of calipers, close it up to slightly larger than this ferrule. Now this works on all ferrules, okay? It's the way of getting them perfect. So slightly larger than that. Start it up. Start cutting it down. Right, I'm slipping over. Now I know it's slightly larger, so I'm going to take away the title stock. Right, now I know this isn't going to fit, so I'm just going to nibble away now until I get that to fit perfectly. And it's actually worth this kind of messing around to get this to fit right. One more should do it. Oh, just very slightly. There we go, there's a good fit on the ferrule. Right, now you will notice that I have not gone the full depth of that. Right, I'm now going to bring the full depth of that down. It's just a way of kind of double checking yourself. Right, that should be the full depth of that ferrule. Check it. It is. Right, so there's a good tight fit on that ferrule and it's centralized on that hole. Now what you want to do is bring this part down to basically the width of the wall of that ferrule, and it's just easier to eyeball it. But put your tailstock back up to make sure nothing moves. As I said, just eyeball it. Now treat that wall there almost like a bushing, and then just turn your handle down to it. Now the thing with these is don't go too fancy on handles. This is a utility piece. It needs to be cleaned. So if you put loads of like born lines and stuff in one of these handles, it makes it harder to clean. And again, that's just my opinion. Right, now that that's down to there, I'll start shaping the handle. Which is actually a pretty simple shape, but my wife tells me not to make them too thick. Sorry, I don't know if you heard that. My wife tells me not to make them too thick. If they're too thick, they're uncomfortable to make. They're uncomfortable to use. That's not quite down at that yet. There we go. Now it's down. You also don't want to make these too long. So I'll start curving in there. with detail gouge to get in there. Now just a little bit left on that, like so. I'm going to sand and finish that because I need to flip it around to finish that end. So I'm going to sand this and finish it, and I'll be back in a sec. This is actually going to be quite a quick video. Right, just buffing off the wax. Now there is a few ways of finishing this end. Right, you can either finish it between centres like this. Well, it's basically between centres. Right, and cut that with a skew and get a nice cut on it, and then hand sand it. Or you can flip it round, which is what I prefer to do. And even when you flip it round, there's two ways of doing it. You can make yourself basically a jam chuck, right, which will slip up inside the handle. Or you can do a clamp. Right, I'll show you the clamp. It's handy that these clamps work for a lot of things. Pete over at Twisted Trees, I'll leave a link below to Pete's channel, uses them to hold his sanding arbors, because Pete doesn't like to use Jacob's chucks to hold something into his headstock. But he uses a version of this clamp to hold his sanding arbors. Right, so there's the handle basically done apart from the end. Right, so we flip it around. Actually, we won't. I'll try to make this clamp first. Right. And then we flip it around. Right, for the clamp, any piece of scrap wood that's big enough to fit in your jaws is what you need. Right. I'll start off between centres just to put the tenon onto it. I had a piece of scrap beech around here with a big crack in it, which is useless for anything else. Where did I put it? Piece of scrap beech, and there's a crack in it right there, so it's useless for anything else. So I'm just going to stick it between centres, round it off, and put a tenon on it. Right, we'll stick that in a set of jaws. Now all I need is about that much. Right, so I'm just going to cut that off. Get rid of that. Rough is fine. You're not after anything fantastic here. You're just making a clamp. Now drill a hole in it. Doesn't matter what size. I happen to have the drill bit that I used to drill the hole. Now drill all the way through. Now what you want to do is expand that hole so that it's the exact same size as that top bit there. And the easiest way doing that is with a parent tool. And try and make sure that the walls are square as you can get them. on it. Right, that'll do. Now what I want to do is take it over to the saw and cut a slit in it. Right, so what I end up with is a hole with a slit that goes into the jaws. Right, now line that up with a gap in the jaws. Put your piece in and clamp it. As I said, you built a clamp here, so what you're looking to do is to clamp this down. Sometimes they're quite stiff to close, but that's what you want. Right. Now before you clamp it down completely, bring your centre back up and support it. Put as much apart as you can for as long as you can. And just make sure it's well clamped. You see the way the gap has closed there, so it's actually clamping down on the piece. Right. Now finish shaping that end. Right, it doesn't matter if it's going to be slightly off because you're not going to see it. Right, all I want to do is cut it off, part it off. Right, she's off. Popped out of the clamp, but no worries, you just put it back in. Because all that clamp is going to do is hold it while you're sanding it. And now that you're all sanded and shiny and polished and the end is nice, the only thing left to do is put the kit together. Now, the easiest way I've found to do this is I have a block with a slit in it. Right, the pizza wheel slides into the slit, and the top of that part of the pizza wheel pushes against the side of the block, so as you don't put any pressure on the wheel itself. And you just get the finger guard, slide it on, the ferrule, and slide it on. Start the handle going on. You won't get it all the way because of the size of the hole. And then what I do is I grab one of my pen press attachments. I need to be further back. Right. Put the block up against there. Wind the pen press attachment in, making sure everything stays lined up straight. Squeeze it down, and there is the pizza wheel put together. Right. Now, as I pointed out in the other one of the reasons I didn't like it was because the hole was open. As you can see in that one, the hole is completely closed, so there's no way pizzas can get up there. It's got the finger guard on it, and as I said, it's pure stainless steel, so nothing to complain about there. It's a much better kit. Really, with kits you get what you pay for. So if you enjoyed that one, if you wouldn't mind clicking like on the video, and I'll see you in the next one.